What's up guys, it's Cardmaster93 here, and I'm doing a discussion on the April 1st, 2015 ban list. So, first we're going to talk about the banned cards. First and foremost, I'd like to talk about the Dragon Rulers. The Dragon Rulers are now banned. They were originally limited, and their baby versions were banned. So Tidal, Tempest, Redox, and Blaster are all no longer playable in tournament play. Which is very unfortunate because I feel like those cards were very vital in a lot of different decks. Lightsworn Rulers, obviously, Mythic Rulers. I've seen some people play Blaster and Fire Fists, and now they have to swap cards out. But regardless, the decks that really did need those cards as vital components of the deck were Lightsworn Rulers, Mythic Rulers, etc., etc. And unfortunately, those cards are banned now. Next, we're going to see Snatch Steal banned. Snatch Steal, I kind of saw this one coming, I'm not going to lie. Snatch Steal, it can really be the game-winning card for somebody who's losing and who's just not playing right. Like, they can literally just snatch steal their opponent's boss monster and then go in and just start wrecking everything else. The thing about Snatch Steal is the 1,000 life point gain on your opponent's life points, it's really not that much, considering the way that people can OTK in the modern meta. So I feel like the whole 1,000 life point gain really doesn't make a difference. But yeah, I did definitely see Snatch Steal coming. I mean, it's essentially taking one of your opponent's monsters for free. Next, we're going to go to the limited cards. We have Sinister Serpent. Sinister Serpent, I know, got one of the new erratas from the Gold Rare 2 set, the Premium Gold Return of the Bling Box 2. And I know that a bunch of other cards did, actually. I know Crush Card Virus got a reprint, Exchange of the Spirit got a reprint, Ring of Destruction got a reprint. There's a bunch of other stuff that got a reprint from that box, but regardless, yes, so Sinister Serpent's one of them. As aforementioned, Crush Card Virus is now limited with a new effect. Exchange of the Spirit, limited with a new effect. Ring of Destruction, limited with a new effect. Temple of the King, that's another one, limited with a new effect. So yeah, all those cards are playable, but be wary of how you play them, and make sure that if you're going to play them, make sure you remember the erratas. So moving on, Tour Guide from the Underworld. That one's a rough one. Tour Guide from the Underworld was very abused in Burning Abyss, and it did have a mini engine of its own, but mostly players used it in Burning Abyss, and it was one of their main opening plays. And to see it limited to one really, in my opinion, ruins that entire deck. That deck is probably going to go down in price, and I'm not saying that it will, but I'm predicting that it could. Somebody could come up with another broken combo to bring Burning Abyss back, but the original Tour Guide engine is not going to work in Burning Abyss anymore, unfortunately, because Tour Guide is at 1. Next, Dragon Ravine is at 1. Dragon Ravine really isn't going to do much now that the Dragon Rulers are banned, and nobody really sees, I don't really ever see Dragoonities too much anymore, so I feel like the Dragon Rulers being banned, it kind of gives some leeway for Dragon Ravine. Next, Preparation of Rites at 1. I figured this was going to happen, Preparation of Rites. Sacrifice. Sacrifice, the reason why I knew Sacrifice was probably, or Cleaforts in general, were going to get hit is because they were really, really destroying tournaments. I would see Cleafort players beat everybody at one of my local tournaments, and it was really, really actually kind of annoying. But Sacrifice was one of their search utilities. When it's sent to the graveyard, after it's equipped to a Clee monster, you can just search out another Clee monster. So yeah, I feel like that does kind of generate a little bit of advantage, because then it's like if your opponent just MSTs it, hey, I get a free search. Next, we're moving on to Symbol of Heritage. Symbol of Heritage is limited to 1. I've really never seen this card played, so I really don't have an opinion. But, hey, Skill Drain, 1. I've seen Skill Drain used in a lot of different decks. Cleaforts, Yang Zings, all kinds of different decks. And Skill Drain being at 1 definitely, I would say, evens the play field. Reason why is because a lot of these decks did not have effects on board. They had effects when they hit grave, or they had effects in hand, or they had effects somewhere other than on the board. And if they did have effects on the board, then you would want to negate them. So the Skill Drain being at 1 really does help out and even out the playing field for other players. Next, and what I'm most saddened about, Vanity's Emptiness being at 1. I can see why they did it. I know that a lot of players were basically special summon, special summon, special summon, set, pass, and then upon standby phase Vanities, and now you can't special summon. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, I get to do it, but now I just shut down your board. What are you going to do about it? Especially with the reprint from the Secret Forces, it really shut down a lot of different decks because everybody had the reprints. Myself included, I had 8 of them. I still have 8 of them, but I can only use 1 per deck, so which is very unfortunate because I'm mostly a Boojin player, and Vanities was one of my main components of my deck. But I changed the deck up a little, so I'm not too saddened by it. But Vanities was one of my favorite trap cards. So yeah, moving on. Now we're getting into the semi-limited list. Cleafort Scout. Cleafort Scout, I can see why they semi-limited it. Searched a lot. You pay 800 life points while it's in the pendulum zone, and you get to search out another Clee monster. I would feel like limiting it would be a little too excessive. I feel like semi-limited is actually perfect, because if you just get rid of 1 Cleafort Scout out of the equation, you just remove 1 from the equation, and I feel like it's a little more fair, especially being sacrificed down to 1. I feel like that's actually perfect. That's the perfect ratio of the deck, in my opinion. So yeah, Cleafort Scout is now semi-limited. Next, Necros are Bryonic, semi-limited. Necros have been destroying tournaments. They've gone to a tournament. I've seen Necros players beat everybody. Hell, the tournament I went to, I ended up having to leave early, but I feel like, if I remember correctly, the Necros players all topped. Obviously, it is the new meta deck, but you know, I feel like Bryonic being semi-limited was kind of fair, because Necros is really ridiculous. Next, the Synchro for the 6 Samurais, Legendary 6 Samurai Xian, that is now semi-limited as well, so basically you can Synchro that and Synchro into that twice. Not a bad card. I feel like, you know, it being semi-limited is actually pretty fair. It doesn't generate too much advantage or disadvantage, so, you know, that being a 2, whatever. Charge of the Light Brigade being at 2. Lightsworn players, yeah, you lost the Dragon Rulers, but you got a Charge of the Light Brigade, so you just got to change it up a little. So the Charge of the Light Brigade just allows you to mill 3 and then add a level 4 lower Lightsworn monster from your deck to your hand after you do the mill. So I suppose it's not a fair trade-off, but, you know, hey, it's something. You know, your deck is still alive, you just have to build a different variant. Sacred Sword of 7 Stars is now semi-limited. Now that the Dragon Rulers are banned, Sacred Sword of 7 Stars is not as abusable, because if you banish the Dragon Ruler using Sacred Sword of 7 Stars, you get a +2 to your hand, and also you get to add from your deck to your hand 1 Dragon-type monster whose attribute is the same as the one you banished using Sacred Sword of 7 Stars. So, yeah. Now that the Dragon Rulers are banned, Sacred Sword of 7 Stars is semi-limited. And now we're going to go to cards that were removed from the list almost completely. Or completely. First and foremost, what I'm most excited about, Brotherhood of the Fire Fist Spirit is off. I have friends who are still Fire Fist players. My buddy Cody is a very good Fire Fist player. And him seeing Spirit come off the limited list, he's pretty happy about that. I personally am happy about that. Goyo Guardian is off. That's at 3 now. Nobody's really playing 3 Goyo Guardians, let's be honest here. If you have space for 3 Goyo Guardians in your extra deck is really weird. Gladiator Beast, Bestiari, that came back. That's really good. I haven't seen a Gladiator Beast player in a very long time, and personally, I'd like to see it get some more play. I think that'd be really cool to play some gladiator beasts. Next, Gores. Nobody's really playing 3 Gores either. Gores really isn't as good of a card as it used to be. So, I mean, yeah, it prevents OTKs, but that's about all it does with a token that gives you the same attack as the damage you took from that attack. So, I suppose Gores being at 3 is whatever. Hieratic Seal of Convocation. I haven't seen a lot of Hieratic players lately, so Hieratic Seal of Convocation back. And the Baby Rulers are all unbanned now. Obviously, with the Big Dragon Rulers, Blaster, Tempest, Tidal, and Redox all being banned, there's no need for the Baby Dragon Rulers to be banned. It's unfortunate because those cards are pretty much dead. There's no point in even using them. But, hey, what are you going to do? That's Konami. Yeah, so rate, comment, subscribe, like, whatever. Tell me what you think about this ban list in the comments below. I will be doing a duel series. That should be coming up very shortly. We're still in the middle of filming. But I will be posting them probably within the next month. So keep an eye out for that. Cardmaster 93, out.